do wait for Shar. But meantime, if you want to talk, you can talk. You can unmute yourself. We don't need to be totally silent here. So where was I? Scissors, knife, clipping, scissors. You don't have to use all these things, but I have them all available so that, and then the spray bottle, because I like to spray my things before I start working on them to keep them fresh, and I wish she'd come in. She has a tea leaves. And I have needles. So I was talking about what happened to my lay needle. Here it is. I got to put it away because you have to buy this from Hawaii or online. And it's got a little hook at the end. I don't like it because it's not so easy to use. Can you guys see? It's pretty thin. And unless you're very adept, pushing the flowers in and go like this. And there's a tendency to ruin the flowers more if you're not used to working with flowers. I don't like pushing 6 or 8 flowers down here and then pushing it out. So I don't use this, and I'm not going to use it today because none of you have it. And I want you to just go to like Joann's and get, needles with big eye. And it doesn't have to be super long. That's what I use. I'm going to put this away because I don't want to lose it. And be right back. I had 2 of those and I don't know where I put the other one. Okay, so I use dental floss for thread. You can use regular thread, but dental floss is very good because it never breaks. And it's very easy to use because it's thicker than regular thread, sewing thread. You can use sewing thread, push comes to shove, but dental floss is one of the best things to have and use. This is raffia. Everybody knows what raffia is. It comes in a bundle. It's kind of like wrapped up like, like that. You can go to Joann's Fabric, and this is, it's really good to use. And I use this to make lace too, because you can use some of the thinner ones like this to string lace if you want to. But basically use this for haku style. All right, everybody, I want you to show your faces. Some of you are kind of walking around and all that stuff.
This is, can I say something? So Joann's does not have raffia, but Michael's at Northgate has raffia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and up here I go to Joann's. Joann's has it. Depends. Okay, so I went over the tools, right? Scissors, knife, clippers, bottle spray, raffia, dental floss, string if you want to use it. So I'm going to start with the easiest lace first. There are many, many ways to make lace, but I'm not going to cover all the ways because we don't have that kind of flowers in Hawaii. Plus that I couldn't go out and buy, the florists are really, some of the florists going out of business because of this pandemic and couldn't find flowers that could show all the different ways. But one of the basic ways is stringing the lace. It's just stringing the lace straight. It's called kui, stringing the lei with needle and thread, dental floss, and thread. So first I should talk about the purpose of lei. So when you make a lei, you should think about what is the purpose of the lei. Is it for a memorial service? Is it for a celebration? Because all of that counts into what kind of lei you're gonna make. If it's a memorial service and depends on the person, you might make the lei that the person loved those flowers or something. But generally speaking, you want to capture the mood of the event, right? Weddings usually are very specialized leis like mailis and pikakis and all that stuff, and those are very regal kind of leis. Graduation, all that kind of stuff is very joyful, happy birthday, so kind of colorful, kind of doesn't matter. But the other thing is needs to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye. You're not going to pick a flower that's not pleasing to the eye. You have to use a lot of common sense. Also think of the lifespan of the flower. This is a little baby rose. These are really great to use. Baby rose. You don't want to pick pansies or delicate, flowers with really delicate petals because they're gonna die eventually. In a day or so, they'll be gone. Also the size. Would you pick a hibiscus? No, too big. Would you pick a Cattleya orchid? No, too big. Bird of paradise? No. I mean, you look at it, you go like, oh, obviously, right? Those are real obvious questions. So, usually flowers about this size for making just regular round lei, plumeria size around the neck, those are pretty standard. No hibiscus, none of those huge flowers, not big roses, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so what else? Color combination. You need to have a good eye for putting colors together, especially when you do haku. You can kind of tell these colors go together. They look really good. We'll talk about more about fillers and all that stuff. These are fillers. In between, baby's breath are fillers. Put in between your regular flowers. So you're gonna match your fillers with the kind of main flower you're gonna use. If it's red, you're gonna not put a purple filler maybe in between, depending, whatever. But you gotta have a little bit of sense of color, right? Here's some lovely carnations that go with, like white baby's breath would go really well with these. Okay, color combination. When you make a lei, every single lei is beautiful because there's some repetitive pattern. There's a repetition. You put 6 roses and then you put one little filler, 6 roses, like that. Do you understand? You don't put like 3 roses and then this and this and this and then, 5 roses and It doesn't look good. It needs to be a pattern, whether it's a lei here or a lei po'o or a lei. Usually men wear leis that just come down, they're open, they're not shut, they're not like circular. Or a haku lei, which is, I like the haku because you can use a lot of leftovers and things from out in your garden to fill in. Repetition is really important. Length. Before you start your lei, you need to know who the person is and how big the person is. Because if it's a big person and you make a lei that's 30 inches long, what's gonna happen? Or 25 inches long, you may just be able to put it over the head and then not have it, correct. So what's the correct length of a lei? So the standard lei kind of comes down to here, right? The one that goes around comes down to here. The other kind of hula dancing lei, sometimes we come down to here. But a lei of gift usually is here, right here. Or if you're making a haku lei, it can be shorter. Even the other lei can be shorter. Depends on what you're using the lei for. It can be like here. But you basically, when you're before you cut your dental floss, all that stuff, you can take a tape measure and just, kind of guess. And then beyond the length of the lei, you're gonna have like 4 or 5 inches extra at the end, okay? You're not gonna put flowers at the end, like this. And why is that? You're gonna use it to tie. You have to tie, right? Let's pretend it's a small lei. You gotta tie the thing together. Otherwise, how are you gonna tie the lei together? So that's thing, repetition, length, open or close. Open leis, we haven't seen too many open leis, but guys wear a lot of open leis. The leis just go around the neck, comes down here. Usually that's haku style. There's leaves in the background and you just put flowers down and comes. It's kind of masculine. It's very masculine, in fact. When you give a lei to someone, or you should know this, you teach them what to do with the flowers after you gift the lake. Don't have them put them in the garbage. That's bad karma. And don't have them give it away to someone else. It's like an insult to you, right? If I give you a present and in front of me, you say, oh, you can have this. How does it make you feel? You don't feel good, right? I don't feel good when I give a lei to somebody and they go, oh, you can have it here. So a lei is a gift of love, right? Circle. And so one should treasure it and treat it like, something that is really honorable. So what do people do after the lei is, flowers are going and stuff like that? When I get a lei that I really like a pikaki or something, I hang it first on my bedpost because it smells really nice. Keep it there as long as you can. Once you're done with it, you take it outside and put it in your garden, sprinkle or hang it on the tree outside until it really disintegrates. Then you take the string or the dental floss, whatever, and then you can throw that away in the garbage. But the natural stuff, you give it back to nature. Let other people see it. You have a tree in the front of your yard, hang it out there for people to see. And when you gift your lei, I want you to make sure that you tell the person that you gave the lei to about that tradition and why they go out and hang it on a tree, not put it in the garbage can, okay? It's a no-no. All right, so that's that. So that's that portion. Any questions so far? And I'm gonna start making the simple lei first. Anybody had a question, raise your hand. Okay, ready? So I made a few to start with, so I don't waste any time stringing the lei. So the first one that I made, this is a really easy lei to make. It's made out of the carnation here. Showed you, right? Carnation. This is baby carnation. You can use the big carnations, but they're very expensive. And the big carnations make a bigger lei. It's actually too uncomfortable with a big carnation. I think I showed you guys a picture of lei with, I was doing a dance with Saichi one time, and big, it's so huge, it's pretty uncomfortable. But some people like that, especially for guys, who are big. So the way you do this is, here's the carnation, right? It's got the, whatever you call this. I forgot my biology, not biology, my plant terminology here. So you just spread the green, I'll call it petals for now. You open it up, right? You squish it up and you open it up. You clip it as close as possible to the end of just open it up. It's very easy. See, I'll do it like this. I go like this. When you're watching TV and you just kind of go like this and you open it up. And you just assume that you already sprayed. Ooh, it smells good. Sprayed it. Oh, that's another thing. You want to pick things that smell good. Would you pick marigold? No. What about rosemary? You want to be careful what kind of things you pick, because it might smell nice when you first pick it. Oh, it smells kind of, after you wear it for a long time, oh, it gets a little too much. So unless the fragrance is really pleasant, like ginger blossom or pikaki or, plumeria, I would not pick flowers that smell stinky, not very pleasant. People would want to take the lei off pretty quickly. Plus your clothes will start smelling. I forgot to mention that. Okay, here we go. We got these flowers all ready, right? So what do? I have my needle all prepared, right? Big needle that I got from Joann's with a big eye. And you must put, well, where did it disappear to? Usually I put a matchstick, you tie a matchstick before you start here, I did a matchstick before I string the flowers. And why do you do that? It's a stopper. It's a stopper. When you're done with the lei, you can break it off. You can break it and take it off. So here we go, stringing the lei. You go from the center of the flower. You don't go from the back. This is very difficult to go this way. You go from the center here. Poke it through and press it down, right? You keep doing that. This is the most basic, going from the center of the flower. Open it up and make sure that the center goes into the center. So as you keep going, you can see the result of your lei. It's going to be a kind of a nice thick, lei. I'm just going to do one more, and then we're going to move to the next thing. So if you pick good big carnations, as you can see, the lei will become very thick. So that's how it looks like. So I like to use one color with carnations. I don't like to use a lot of different colors. You can use different colors, but it's not as attractive. Okay, so that's that one type of lei, carnation. Put that aside. So this is the same idea, right? I got I don't know what they're called, this flower here. So here again, kind of an interesting pattern because it has the green in between.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting pattern. So you just kind of poke the center again. This is very easy because you don't even have to prep it. You just go like this. You probably can do this in 30 minutes. You'll have a lei done like that. You try to put the same size. This one, I'm sorry, this is a tiny. So because sometimes the flowers are of different size, you want to, the way to do it is to prep all the flowers ahead of time. Then you lay it out. And then if some of them are smaller than the others, you create a pattern first before you start sewing the lei. So that's how this one will look like. Kind of interesting look, pink and green. Okay, so that's that. Now, I found, I guess, I don't know if Lindsay's on, but I found these look like mokihana. They look like mokihana, which is the lei of what island? Anybody knows, unmute yourself and say.
Kauai.
What island?
Kauai.
Kauai.
Yeah, I ought to know that. It's Kauai.
Yeah, Kauai.
It's the berry from the Mokihana plant.
Right. So that's what they use to make the leis, and that's what
Well, here's
the flowers are actually white. But okay, we're gonna put that lei aside. So I found this. It's not mokihana, but I said, oh, this looks like mokihana. So I bought them
I know, we saw
from
that.
Trader Joe's. Looks like this.
We're looking at those.
Yeah, we saw those at the flower mart yesterday.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. They're nice actually. So what I did was I made rose mokihana. I integrated them this way here, like that. See, you can see rose mokihana, rose mokihana. There's a pattern. Now with this kind of lei, it's not as huge. So usually you like to make 2 strands. When you wear them, it looks really nice when you have 2 or 3 strands together because they're tiny leis, right? But as far as fillers are concerned, because sometimes rose is kind of expensive. So you want to put fillers in between because it's kind of expensive to do all rose. So whatever fillers you put in between, as long as you create a pattern, it'll look good. You don't have to put just 1 mokihana, you can put 2 if you want. 1, 2, you know, like that. More of the beads or something you find out. And some people use grapes, but the problem with grapes is that it seeps. You know, you use grapes and then after a while you get all the sugar on your clothes, your outfit. So anyway, so you can do this too, patterns. Remember we talked about patterns. As long as you make a pattern, the lei looks good. It has to have a pattern. So the other thing that I didn't do, which is also stringing a lei, I couldn't find flowers. You know how to do flowers where you go like this? Let's see if I can do this here. You have to, it's like, it's like a cigar flower. I don't know if people know what a cigar flower is.
I do, we do.
Do you know what a cigar flower? They're like long, like more tubular flowers.
Right.
They look like a more tube. You know, if you know what tuberose is, everybody knows what a tuberose is.
Mhm.
Yeah, give people nodding. So I'm gonna use this, pretend this is a tuberose. It's really not, but I go like this. So with the tuberose, you go this. Double tuberose. You can do single tuberose, and you keep going around like this.
Mm.
Instead of going from the center, it's not gonna work so well. You need a really tubular flower
Mhm.
that, so you can go around and around, around and around, you know what I mean?
Oh, you kind of stack it, huh?
Well, it doesn't stack if it's like a tuberose. It won't stack. But basically what you're doing is creating a big round lei.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I'll try to do this here. It's not working right. You gotta use those tubular flowers to go round and around and around to make a circular lei. That's another way of stringing lei. So with the cigar flower, it shouldn't be this fat, you know?
Mhm.
You can kind of get the idea though, right?
Yeah, but you need like 100 zillion of them.
Yeah, you need 1,000, about 1,000.
Yeah.
If you know what cigar flowers is, when you go to Hawaii, ask somebody, can you show me what a cigar flower is? Because the mouth of the flower is a different color than the rest of the flower. So it can create a pattern, like a circular pattern around. And you go 1, 2, 3, there's a pattern. It's not easy, it takes hours to make. So we're not gonna deal with that right now. So those are some of the basic ways to make that lei.
Can I
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
With the cigar pattern, that pattern you just showed, can we use that with tuberose? And the same idea, stack it like that?
Yeah, you do it tuberose, but it doesn't have a pattern. It'll be all white, but it'll be a really nice round white lei, not a thin. You gotta stack it all the way around, just round and around. You keep going around and around.
The long way, right? You stack it the long way. You poke the hole in the.
Yeah, like for example, if this is the flower, right, the top,
Yeah,
you do it this way, you poke the needle this way,
yeah.
You do it side by
and you go round and around, it goes like that. Becomes
Oh,
a really, you need lots of flowers.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
here. Yeah,
Today is about over $100 probably to buy a lei like that.
yeah, yeah.
When the market's away, I bought it for $60 in maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But now it's probably $100.
Yeah.
Okay,
see that,
how
yeah.
are we doing time-wise? So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time, so you know the basic ways to make a lei. The quickest way is stringing the lei. The next one is Shar, you got the tea leaves? I wanna show you how to skin the debone the tea leaf. Where's your
No,
tea leaf?
I didn't buy any.
Oh, I thought you said you bought some.
No, I saw some.
Oh, shoot.
They
Okay.
were like 10 tea leaves for $5.
Yeah, that's what you do. You buy
That's
10
pretty
tea leaves.
reasonable, right? Is that reasonable for mainland?
Very reasonable. Usually it's $1 a leaf. Okay, so
Good.
I'm gonna pretend that this is a tea leaf. How many of you know what a tea leaf looks like? Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm gonna get a similar.
So I thought she was gonna have one, so I was gonna show you how to,
I'm gonna get some that will substitute.
well, meanwhile, while it's getting it. So then this is a tea leaf, okay? But the tea leaf is big, it's broader. Just imagine that this is a really, big leaf, but you see there's a center, right? This is the spine of the leaf. Got it, you guys? Look over here, don't look at your paper. This is the spine. So with the tea leaf, you're gonna find a spot where the spine is kind of thick. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to slice it. And then you're gonna put this hand underneath, this finger underneath, and you're gonna push it like this. And as you push it, the thumb is here, right? And the pointing fingers underneath, you push it like this thing will start coming off. You're gonna strip the bone. I call it the bone, the spine of the tea leaf, like that. That's how we make grass skirts also. So it's hard to see on the screen, but there is a spine that the tea leaf has that's much stronger than this, thicker. And you can literally put a slice in it. You put a slice in it, like you see I'm doing. Can you see? This way. A slice in, I'm having a hard time knowing which direction to go here. A slice in it without breaking the other side. You keep the other side, you know, but this is, imagine a big tea leaf, right? And that's what we make our grass skirt out of. But the grass skirt, we're gonna strip it so that it becomes like a hula skirt. And then you put it over a waistband. You bend it over and tie it. One next to the other becomes a grass skirt. But with the hakule, we use this. This is a Cymbidium makeshift. Couple of ways to do it. One is by sewing with a needle, which is, I think, for us, the easiest way. Or you can do both. Sew the base with the needle to attach the leaves on. Or reverse. What I like to attach the leaves with sewing it on. And then you can tie on the all the other stuff that goes with it. No, Ralph, I already covered it, Ralph. I already covered it. So I'm gonna move forward. So let's say that this is a tea leaf. The tea leaf is not long enough for a complete lei. By the time you take the bone out, the tea leaf is really soft. So, but it's bigger, so you're gonna bend it over anyway. You wanna make it like this width anyway. You know, tea leaf is bigger, right? So you fold it over to make it narrow like this. And then you probably need 2 tea leaves to make a lei. So you can either sew the 2 tea leaves together here, right? Sew it with raffia and your needle, whatever. I like to sew it. Some people some of the real haku makers, they just like to tie it and attach it. I don't trust it because when you wear the lei, it might fall apart. I just don't trust it. When we first learned, you know, we were supposed to just tie it along, but no, I sew mine. I put the, you know, fold it over and I sew it. Just put a couple of stitches there. So let's, if you don't have fern, like so, can't find any fern. I told you Kohl's has really nice fern, but don't go and steal any. You can also use Boston fern. It's not the prettiest, but it'll work. The tip of the Boston fern works. But if you can go to forest, you can have forest near you and you can, you know, confiscate some without being caught. Do that. That's what we used to do in Hawaii. We never bought these things, you know. I had to go to Lowe's to buy this because I don't have any ferns around here. I tried to grow it myself and it would not grow. It died on me because you gotta kind of have a little hothouse or something. Covered it up and all, but the weather is too cold. So this is what's gonna happen. There are many, many ways in which you can do things. When I did my haku, I don't know if you remember seeing my haku. Here we go. Let's see if I can find it. That was one that I made in several years ago. That has a tea leaf backing and has the ferns. You can see the ferns. Plus it has statice, baby's breath, some berries from outside, and dendrobium orchids, and all that stuff. Very full lei. I was gonna buy statice, but they were out of statice the other day. So if you don't have fern, you can use things like this, lemongrass, lemon leaf, right? Or anything, any kind of green that's, you know, pretty No, that's not. It needs to be more, it's too pointed. Those leaves are too pointed. You need to have something that's curved as a backing. And these can be like in between fillers, you know, smaller leaves. Or like this. The good news about Haku is that you can almost put anything in it as long as you create a what? A pattern, repetitive pattern. Let's say that I decide, okay, I'm gonna use lemon leaf. I'm gonna go. So the first one I'm gonna put is this way, right? Up and down. Then the next one, usually you try to, this is how you do it. You want it sticking out a little bit because the flowers are gonna come in the middle, right? Right, left. This is the backing only. That's for the leaves. Once you put the point on, you're just gonna go back and forth like this, back and forth. All right? Try to keep it more tight because what happens if you make it really wide like this? You get a very big lay, huge lay. You want to keep it tight, but you want to still make it a little bit of an angle going down like here. So for the beginners, it's really hard to manipulate everything, right? Doing all this and then you say, okay, I'm going to put, you know, fern here this way and this way. This way, and then I'm gonna put my filler here, right? My filler. My filler, right? This is just to fill in. And then you're gonna have a main flower. So you're gonna decide, this is my filler, so this is pink. So I guess I will use some roses to put in between. You know, you put the rose, you put some rose. And then, you know, me, I like to do a little trimming, you know, if I don't like something, I kind of like clean it up a little bit. That's me, right? Can you guys see here? Yeah, so this is starting to move. So because you know how difficult it is, right, to put the flower. So what I do is I would start, if you want to be faster, I would sew this first on all your backing. Okay, as a beginner, it's so much easier. Just get the needle and thread and with your raffia and sew the backing. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to cut this off. And I'll make a few stitches. So this one I'm using the lemongrass, but you can also put just fern. You don't have to use lemongrass. You can go fern back and forth like this. I'm ruining this plant, of course. You do the fern the same way, back and forth. I'm not gonna do it all, you know what I mean? You just go back and forth with the fern like that. So now I'm gonna stitch this lemon leaf onto this Cymbidium branch leaf, so it'll stay in place. So I just go from the back, and you also try to create a pattern. Oops, too much. You also try to create a pattern in the way you sew, so that when somebody flips the lay over, they're not going to see a big mess, right? You want to see something that looks a little decent. There's some kind of a, if you're going to stitch, you know, 1 inch here, 1 inch, you know, just keep it consistent, whatever you choose to do. Like that. I'm going to try to work fast. So you just want to hold it in place. Okay, you get the idea? And you keep doing it. You can keep, to make it easier for you, you can do the whole backing first. Usually what you do is you just do this part and you put this thing on and then you go to the next step. But to make it easier for yourself, you can just do the entire backing first. Now, I like to use Baby's Breath, and I also like to use Status, but you can find all kinds of fillers. And fillers are usually anything that's really tiny, like this, that will last. You know, you don't want to pick something that is going to die like within a day. So that's the filler. And I said, you got to keep a pattern going, right? So I put the Baby's Breath, and let's say I put 1 rose, 2 rows. So now you can either continue to sew it on, or you can do the actual wrapping. You know, some of them call witty witty, you go around. I don't like to use the witty witty method because for me anyway, I don't trust it. Witty witty means you just keep going around like this. It's not as easy to do and by sewing. Witty witty literally means, you know, just wrapping it. You continue to wrap it, keep going, and you tie a knot to keep this going, right? That's doesn't hold very well. Or you can cross it. You have two, you use 2 raffias and you cross it. I'm gonna stitch this one on, so I'm gonna show you how you can also cross it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you like what you're doing now in the sewing? Do you like to use raffia or do you like to use dental floss?
I like to use raffia. That's me personally. It's more authentic. You don't have to, because with dental floss, when people look at it, they can see the dental floss.
Oh, that looks a little more like nature.
Yeah, this one is more like, you know, it's more nature. So I like, if you're gonna be around Hawaiians or, you know, go to a Hawaiian event, I would not use dental floss. They would be very forgiving, you know, we're here on the mainland. So, okay, so that's,
Thank
now
you.
I'm going to, I kind of don't recommend this for beginners, but I tie the knot right here, right? And I made lots of ending here. You can do this too. Here you go. You're going to wrap your stuff instead of, oh, I pulled the needle out, instead of sewing it. And I'll show you, it's not as easy. So here, the next step, I tied a knot on the back side. Now I'm gonna create the same pattern. So I use Baby's Breath again. Baby's Breath. Right, Baby's Breath, the filler. This leaf is supposed to be on this side here. It kind of moved. Baby's Breath, the filler. And then 2 roses again. You know, whatever you choose to do. 3 roses, you know, like that. Just create a pattern. It has to be the same, repetitive pattern for yourself. I'm not doing it the way you're supposed to pick all your flowers and have it ready before you start making all this stuff. But I kind of wanted the flowers. So you just create this pattern. And if you feel like, oh, not enough Baby's Breath here, you stick some more Baby's Breath in here, all that kind of stuff. Okay? Some people put ferns even in between if you want. You can use lemon leaves or other kind of leaf and put ferns in between. Or some, you can pick this kind of stuff. As long as you keep the pattern going. If I put this in, I'm supposed to put it in here and put it in here. You know what I mean? On both sides usually. So you keep the pattern the same, and the width should be always the same. Then you can add other things too. You know, you can be really creative and add little berries and stuff. It doesn't really matter what you put, as long as it's pleasing to the eye, smells good, the color scheme is good, there's repetition, etc. This is difficult to make, so I warn you, it's like not something that you want to make like the night before and feel like you're gonna wear the lei the next day. All right, you gotta practice several times. These are the easiest, stringing the lei. You know, like this, you can make all kinds of patterns with just stringing the lei. Yeah, pick creative things too. Now, I didn't talk about braiding and braiding leis because we don't have stuff to braid with, like the Spanish moss. You can take that and braid them, right? Spanish moss, which is the hina or whatever. But yeah, normally we don't do that because we don't have the material to braid or to do weeding. But haku's a really good one to learn eventually, to really make a nice lei for somebody. But you can also do beautiful things, you know, just stringing a lei, depending on what you pick. Yeah, most of the time on the lei stands, this is what you find. You will not, in most rare occasions, you find haku is specially made for people. It's not like you can just go and, oh, you know, it's very expensive to get a haku lei. It's specially made. So, all right, any questions so far? People have stuff that they brought, right? So if you wanna show us what you have and you wanna ask questions, or you wanna share with us what you're doing with it or what you plan to do, please raise your hand and please share. Ralph.
So, so how do you connect those tea leaves that you were just showing, or your orchid leaves?
Oh, you were gone when I
You
said
wanna
it. I
connect
said
them
to
to-
sew it together, sew it.
And how do you do that?
With your needle and thread.
No, I mean, I'm really dumb when it comes to sewing, so I wouldn't know how to sew leaves together. I'm just asking a really stupid.
Char, you know, we talked about it earlier. You put it together.
I'll show.
All right, let's pretend you have, this is one leaf, right?
I want you to walk with me.
You're gonna line it up, right? Like this,
You gotta take out the
lined up.
center stem too.
You just get the thing and you stitch it. You just go poke up here, the knot is in the back, and that's it. You just one stitch, 1 or 2 stitches. After you debone, you have to debone the tea leaf,
Hmm,
Okay, I could show him.
okay,
and you bend it over, bend it over. It's just a stitch. We talked about it when you were out getting some leaves. So
okay.
you said you went to the flower mart. Did you get some flowers, Char?
Yeah, look what I prepared, but I'm ahead of myself.
Okay, let's see. All right, so what are you planning to do with those?
The rose here, but I don't know how to do the baby's breath and this unless I do a Vili Vili style.
You have to do Weedy Weedy style. You do not integrate baby's breath in a stringing lei.
But you know what? I still got a lot here to play with. But I did see those things that look like mokihanas. They come in light pink, like your lei you had earlier.
Yeah,
Dark green, light green, all shades.
right.
For me, I like your thing of 6 or every other, you know, couple of the seeds and then the roses, because I did go to a Hoike and they made double, and you know they did their double only from here, the inside one, then other one all the way around, kind of like, you know, they just hook it up here for your second one.
Right.
But I got one bunch of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I did one bunch at the Flower Mart, so I don't have a retail, I don't have a wholesale thing badge, but it's like $12 for this tiny, less than 1 inch.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Less
Are you
than-
talking about the rose or are you talking about
Yeah,
the,
I took
the
rose
berry?
and the berries, I like those. I like
These are
the
really cheap. I bought these from Trader Joe's.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, Trader Joe's is
Joe's. They can be filler. Trader Joe's has one of the best prices of, just standard flowers.
they do.
I tried to go to Safeway and there's a flower mart here, but Trader Joe's has really good, cheap flowers that you can use as, and it's good to just kind of do the in-between with the fillers because, you don't want to buy 10 bunches of roses, you
Yeah,
can
'cause
buy
it's
like,
pricey. Yeah.
you can buy like 2 bunches of roses and you can make a lei, you know what I mean?
So then you just made a knot at the beginning, huh?
Yeah, I recommend you put a matchstick or something to start. I didn't do that here, but put a matchstick because you can always break the matchstick after and take it off, or toothpick, anything. Or even a branch, you tie a branch. All he has to do is like this. This is a matchstick at the end.
Oh,
You
okay.
see the matchstick?
Yeah.
Then after you finish, you just break it and you can pull it out.
Another method we used was a clothespin.
Yeah, you could use a clothespin. I just like to
That's
use
kinda
matchstick
cumbersome.
because
Yeah,
you don't have to
matchstick
buy
is-
a clothespin, some of
Yeah,
us don't have clothespins. Jan, you have a question?
Yes, I do. So earlier you said for carnations, you spread the flower and you poke the needle through the flower and then the stem. So does that also, is that method also apply to if we string roses?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so it's always through the flower and
Yeah,
not through
so
the stem.
somebody, why would you do that? What's the reason for doing that?
I think that it's so that you don't break the stem.
No,
Because like plumeria, it has a nice long stem and you don't want to break the stem.
no. That's not the reason.
Oh, okay.
because
It's a lot faster to go through the center of the flower than to find the center of that little stem.
Got it. Okay,
You're gonna spend hours trying to poke it. Watch me now. This is the bud. Okay, I'm gonna try to poke it from the end. I'm going, okay, here it is.
okay.
Versus me going like this. I did it in a split second.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
it's been a long time since
You
I
have to be
started the
looking in
plumeria
the
lay.
center of the flower. All you have to, you can just feel it and poking it in. And
Okay.
it goes right in. You're gonna take hours trying to go from this way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, Chad has a question.
Yeah, so this is my lei for my wedding.
Mhm.
See, it's kukui and tea leaves that are woven, braided together like this.
Right.
But I don't know, how you go about the braiding process.
I don't know how to do, I think Shar knows how to do press tea. You have to iron that, you have to prepare the tea leaves and all that stuff. First is deboning the tea
Mhm.
leaves, but then you have to press it with the iron and then braid it,
Mm.
I want to learn that one day, but
Yeah, there are people that teach
Yeah.
that. The only problem is we don't have tea leaves around here so much. They're
The tea
got to
leaves
be very expensive. Tea leaves are very sacred too, right? They, you use the tea leaf branches to
moving over there.
clear. Can someone mute, please? Somebody is talking in the background.
yeah,
Chase evil spirits away,
the tea leaves last forever once they're dry. That's a 17-year-old lei.
Right,
And it's
you can keep it forever,
Yeah.
but you gotta learn how to iron it and do all that stuff. I can see if somebody will do a workshop like that, but we have to wait until we can have tea leaves, because apparently they're not shipping tea leaves over so much right now. Any other questions with relating to making the leis? Melan?
You can freeze tea leaves if you find them. Linda Albion tried that after we were in Hawaii, and she said it worked fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
we were told you could, so if you find them anywhere, you can freeze them and then you have them if you need them.
I know someone who froze hers and she wears it every year. She wore it for 20 years.
Really? Yeah. It's okay for making the lei. It's not okay for, hula skirts, because the
Yeah.
texture and everything doesn't look the same. Anyway, any other questions? So you guys are all gonna make a lei, right? Regardless of whether you're representing an island, right?
Now I know how.
So Ted is doing lanai, but he's using an artificial lei because we can't get that particular item from the market. And Ralph, you're doing something, right? You're doing the hina hina.
Yeah, I'll show you what I'm
Cool,
hoping to
love it.
do.
Yeah, I'll show
Let me
you.
try.
So just the two of you from this group are gonna come to
No, I'll be doing the Mukihana for Kauai.
oh, Lindsay. All right, Lindsay, I forgot. Yeah,
Yes,
Mokihana.
So I'll be
So-
talking to you more about those berries from Trader Joe.
You got
Yeah,
it.
they may not have it every single time, and they only had it at Trader Joe's here in Santa Rosa.
Oh, okay.
So I will have 8 of you, the 3 of you and the 5 from the other group come together, because we are gonna have a little time to talk about how you're gonna present your leis at the show. Okay,
Oh, we
Ralph?
Yes,
double
I was gonna show you, this is, in my yard, I have because it's spring, there's a lot of native plants and stuff growing. So I was thinking this might look like a hina hina a little bit.
Can you put it up to the camera, please? Closer? Yeah, it has that kind of silvery look. Yeah.
This is called mugwort, and it's growing all over my yard like crazy.
Oh, okay. So are you gonna do it haku style, or are you gonna weave it?
I was thinking of weaving it.
Yeah, I think weaving could be, when you weave, you can use this to tie it together,
Mhm,
no backing,
mhm.
just braid it with this,
Okay,
and who did a lei like that is, hold on, May did a lei, just wrong, oh, sorry, wrong thing here. May Kandarin from Berkeley, your friend Shar, did a lei like that,
Yeah, I saw.
weaving it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
Wait, she's
oh, hold on. Okay.
No, that's not the one.
further. It's number 1.
Okay.
Number 1 lay.
There,
Okay, she's talking about
The
that.
one on the
the
left.
one with you can't see the back of it, but she did a beautiful
Far left.
job weaving those. It's on the far left.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk. We're gonna meet her we're gonna meet her soon.
Yeah, why don't you ask her, because she really knows how to, when you turn it around, her lei was perfect in the back. And I'm sorry to say that she didn't get a prize because it's not ostentatious. Her lei was very simple, but it was very traditionally made. She wove that back. You should have seen the back. I wish I'd taken a picture of the back of the lei, because it was very precise and uniform. That's what you want it to look like if you really want to show your lei.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing.
Yeah, ask her, because she really knew how to do her thing.
Well, she lived in Hawaii for.
She's gonna be away that week, I think, that we're doing the show. I hope she can come at least to see the show. Okay, anybody else have questions? If we don't have questions, we can end our initial lei making. And so any of you have any ideas what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing?
This is hard.
Still-
It's hard to string it through the stem part.
All right, so the one thing I want you to think about is, before you make your lei, is who you're gonna give your lei to, because you wanna maybe think about the kind of lei based on who you're gonna give your lei to. Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
that's that. I'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys on Saturday. Saturday is a class, okay, because I am not teaching Tuesday on the 6th. I'm having my COVID vaccine rather. So I'm clearing my plate for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday I have the Vivalon class. So Saturday is a hula class, not practice.
At 2:30, right?
Yes,
I have
Oh,
one last,
for you.
one last question.
Louder.
Do you always make a lei for somebody else? Is it bad to make a lei?
No, not necessarily, but I thought it'd be nice if you made a lei for someone else. You can make 2 leis, have one for yourself and have one for someone else.
Oh, he's making one for me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
May
Day is lay day. You're supposed to wear a lei.
Brainer in this case, yeah.
Wherever you go, you're supposed to wear a lei. We don't do that here, but anyway.
Okay.
No,
I'm
but
gonna
it's a
make one
nice,
for my mother.
say that again.
I'm gonna make one. The one I make is gonna be for my mother.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow. Your mom's, you still got
My
a
mom.
you're lucky.
Nice, wow.
Well, she's been gone since 2012, but
Oh.
I always have flower for her.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's a good idea. Huh? I could put it over my mom's picture.
Excellent.
And people can take it to the grave, you know, if you
Yeah, I
have,
was thinking of
someplace
that.
that you
Yeah.
can take it to the grave and
Yeah.
honor somebody.
That's what I'm gonna do.
It's always nice to give somebody a lei. I feel like if I make a lei, I don't really want to keep it for myself. I'd rather give it away. That's
Okay.
my thing. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about. I don't have a Vanda, but you know, when you're in Hawaii, you can make so many different kinds of leis even. And also, do you know the ice flower, right? You know the ice flower? Did you see it blooming bright pink or orange?
Yeah.
You guys know what an ice flower is?
Yeah. They're kind of the
Yeah.
cactus family. Well, looks
Yeah,
like.
so
Yeah.
those are the ones that you can make it that round and round thing, you know?
Mhm.
It also takes a lot of flowers to make that, but the ice flower, and then the orchid, the Vanda orchid. I have a Vanda orchid, but I'm gonna pick something here. Somebody needs to mute themselves. The Vanda orchid is a purple orchid. This is green, but does anyone know what a Vanda orchid is? So, you know, the Vanda orchid, they have
Oh,
a
yeah.
tender portion, right? You can divide it in 2. So we usually. Lindsay, can you mute yourself, please, Lindsay? Ted, can you mute
Thought I
her?
did. Yeah.
Ted?
Yeah, I was trying to answer your Vanda orchid.
So this is not quite the Vanda orchid, but we used to separate the lip from the rest of the flower, take it apart. And we would make a lei of just the lip going back and forth. This way, that way. Becomes a really pretty, we call it the Mauna Loa style orchid lei. Goes back, hard to see, right? Back and forth, back and forth. And it's all purple. And then we would take this part and just string it together and it becomes another lei. So you can make 2 leis out of, you know, the blossom. You take, of course, you cut the stem off like this. But that was also it's kind of hard to find the Vanda orchid lei today. Let me see if I can find it in here. The Mauna Loa style uses the lip. I want to show you the pink is the pink is the ice flower. We call it ice flower here, but in Hawaii we call it the akulikuli. And you have my neighbor has the orange ones out in their front yard, and I walk by and I always kind of looking, I'm looking at them thinking that I want to pick it, but of course I won't. Trying to find a Mauna Loa orchid lei. It doesn't show here. But anyway, if you look it up online, you can see the Mauna Loa orchid lei. Not as common today because Vanda orchids are getting more and more rare. You know, as, oh, here's the agapanthus. This is a great book, by the way. Agapanthus. It's a round and round and round lei. You know, like the tuberose that you go around and around and around. Agapanthus doesn't last very long. So anyway, so that's that, you guys. So pretty. When you, I don't know whether the airports now still have leis. Now, you know, it used to be so pretty. You go to the airport and used to buy really, in Hilo especially, the lei stands, very reasonable leis. One lei for only $8. I think it's changed quite a bit today. Okay, if you don't have any questions, we can say goodbye. I'll see you guys on Saturday for class.
Sounds good. Mahalo.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.